Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News Radio, and NBC Sports, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Tiki Live, Amazon Music, Podchaser, JioSaavn, Rumble, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip on the show, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. And if you missed Friday's show, it was show number 900, major milestone, especially for those who said you cannot make a show about hope and happiness work. So there, you're wrong. And I'm so grateful that I get to continue to do this thing called the show every weekday morning. If you haven't free subscribed on my YouTube channel, please do, because that houses all the shows where you can watch and listen on the AM FM on my KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, NBC News Radio. You can just listen on your way to work as you do the drive time. And thank you for making me the number one 8 a.m. show on the way in. But on my YouTube channel, you can actually watch and listen. So I want you to free subscribe there. You can also get my red carpet playlist and listen to interviews from Halle Berry, John Travolta, Jimmy Fallon, The Temptations, and more. So all that's available to you on my YouTube channel. And you can also get my past shows. So if you missed the one with the Waltons a couple weeks ago with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's daughter, Lucy Arnaz, all of that is available on the playlist. And today I have a very special show because it's a double header. It is Sleep Awareness Month. And so I have an interview that I did a couple days ago with Dr. Carlos Nunez, and followed by a very special guest live in studio. I am hashtag Dr. Marissa reporting live today out of San Diego. And those of you who know, once a year I go, my friend Greg Reed does amazing this show that I've been on stage as a speaker for, and he brings amazing guests. Last year was Carol Baskin, I think you remember, from Tiger King, as well as the bailiff from Judge Judy. And there's all kinds of people that I get to meet, and I found one to bring to you today. And his name is Star Nunez, Ruzo. Sorry, he's right here beside me, waiting in the wings, in the green room. And I'm going to bring him on after my interview with Dr. Carlos Nunez, giving us some really good information about sleep awareness, sleep deprivation, and why sleep is so important. So we'll be right back live, but I wanted to play you this interview. Enjoy.
To take my advice, I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and just in time for National Sleep Awareness Week and Daylight Savings Time. A new survey finds that people think that they're getting a good amount of sleep, but how they feel in the morning suggests something else. Joining us today is Dr. Carlos Nunez. He's one of the top sleep experts in the nation. You may remember my interview with him last year. He's the Chief Medical Officer for ResMed and the Chairman of the Consumer Technology Association's Health Division. He's here to share information from this important survey and how sleep impacts overall health. Welcome back to the show, Carlos.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we'll dive right in. What are some of the highlights from this great survey you did?
Yeah, the survey is actually quite interesting for two results that jumped out at me. As you alluded to in the introduction, about 64% of the respondents feel like they're getting enough hours of sleep. They're lying in bed the number of hours they think they should be, but 81% admitted to having at least one sign or symptom of sleep deprivation the next day. So everything from excessive daytime sleepiness to dry mouth, sore throat, waking up with headaches, or even waking up drenched in sweat, all signs that you're not getting good sleep. Some of them potentially signs that there's a sleep disorder at play.
I'm I'm thinking about having water right now. So you just had dry mouth. Now, what does the survey reveal? What is keeping people up at night?
Great question. Most people talked about this things that you would imagine, the things that cause anxiety and race through your mind. We've all had those nights where something at work, something at home, finances keep you awake. And it's okay every once in a while to have one of those nights. But when you are having trouble sleeping, mind is racing 2, 3, 4 nights a week, that's when there's a problem. The other thing that people admitted to that was keeping them up at night was their screens, their phones and iPads and computers that they're staring at. We know better. We've seen and heard enough, but yet people admit that about a third of people are admitting that, yeah, I probably should put that screen down, but I don't.
Guilty as charged. How can someone know if a sleep disorder is to blame for sleep issues?
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's okay every once in a while to have a bad night. And some of the symptoms we talked about are not a definite sign of a sleep disorder. But if there is anything about your sleep that has you concerned, the best thing to do is talk with your doctor. Unfortunately, physicians don't always ask about sleep, and we don't always think to mention it. But it is probably the single most important thing you can do every single day for your health is to get a good night's sleep. So if any of these signs or symptoms we've discussed concern you, also if anybody says, sometimes you can't tell what's going on, you're asleep. But if you have someone who shares the bed with you and they say things like, boy, you really snore loud, or it sounds like you might stop breathing while you're snoring, those are also things to bring up with your doctor.
Mm-hmm. So what's something simple that people can do to improve their sleep?
Yeah, a couple of very simple things you can do. Have that same schedule every night, or as much as you can control your sleep schedule. Our bodies and our brain like to go to bed about the same time every night and wake up about the same time every morning. We all see it now. Just 1 hour disruption in our clocks this weekend can throw you for a loop for a few days. And so having a regular schedule is the best thing you can do. Also, keeping the room dark, having a comfortable temperature in the room for you. And again, put down those screens. Do not doom scroll through your social media feed looking for that next funny cat video. I promise it'll be there in the morning.
I would say guilty as charged, but I don't do the cat videos. But Candy Crush is a different story. I am over 10,000. But anyways, what else should or can people do about sleep problems?
Yeah, educate yourself. Learn, the difference between something that might just be an annoying sign or symptom. If you're a little tired one day, that's very different than being chronically tired every single day. That's what I had. So I had sleep apnea that was undiagnosed for many years, mostly because I was in denial. I just thought it was normal that I was tired all the time. But if you're finding yourself deep into the afternoon and struggling to stay awake, having to drink a lot of coffee in the afternoon to stay awake, or caffeine, and then can't fall asleep because you've had caffeine late in the day, all these things are just telling you your body and your sleep are out of whack. And you want to ask those questions, educate yourself. Don't be afraid to talk to your doctor. I know I said it before, but sleep is literally the single best thing you can do for yourself every day, is to get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, and it is step away from the device. And I've noticed that with all these series now. We didn't used to, we used to have to wait a week for a program to come on to continue. But now, because that word binging, or what is that called? When you watch the series, you
binge watch,
binge watching, whatever. Yeah, it's really bad for your sleep if you're not strong enough to step away from the device. So that's my advice on that.
Oh, sure.
Now, how do we get more information? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say guilty as charged. I've done the same where you're like, one more episode.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
That's my number one sleep robber. And I, better, but it's really, that's a skill to develop, is discipline to step away from the device and don't poke the animal. Don't even start the series. I'm sorry, Netflix, but you're the enemy right now for my sleep, because you're absolutely right, Dr. Nunez. Sleep is the most important thing for anyone's level of efficiency, effectiveness, and happiness, for sure. So, as I was asking before, I want to make sure everyone who's listening, now or later, can go to sleepforbettertomorrow.com. Is that the correct address?
Yes, sleepforbettertomorrow.com. Lots of great information about healthy sleep, sleep disorders, even a link to my podcast, which has some really good information about sleep and wellness.
Fantastic. So it's sleep for, not the number 4, FOR, bettertomorrow.com. Before I let you go, quick question.
Yep.
What do you say is the number of hours that you absolutely need for a good night's sleep? Because I have arguments with people around this.
Yeah, no, the science shows, and one of the research studies that I was actually recently involved in shows, less than 7 is no good. 9 or more is probably no good. So between 7 and 9 really is that's that magic number.
I'm in trouble. But I wake up after 5 hours every night and I get a lot done. But anyways, I won't argue with you. I'm not going to argue with an expert. I hear you. I will try to integrate. Thank you so much, Dr. Nunez, for coming back to my show. Every year you give great information. Sleepforbettertomorrow.com is where you can get all of this information. And I wish you the best sleep ever. Thanks, Dr. Nunez.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Polly, for doing this while I'm remote. We did a lot of problem solving, and I love the fact that every issue has the opportunity for more creativity and problem solving. And welcome back. You are tuned to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. And I am so glad that we're going to be able to answer questions if you have them. So go to my YouTube channel right now, streaming live, as well as my Facebook and my LinkedIn. So we'll look forward to seeing eyeballs and to have you interact. But if you're driving, please don't do that until you land somewhere. And I'm so delighted. As you can see, I have a live in studio guest with me as I am in San Diego attending the fabulous Secret Knock put on by my friend Greg Reed. The best highlight yesterday for me was getting hugged twice by his son, Colt Reed, who you know as my bump partner on the red carpet. And we'll be doing that tomorrow night. It's a 3-day fabulous event by invite only. So you'll make sure that you attend for next year because it's always sold out. And I get to meet really interesting people. And today is no exception. As you can see, I have here a new friend. His name is
Ruzo.
I can't say it like he does. So I want to have him do that. And I thought it would be interesting. I haven't done this for a while for my guests. I do not have an answering machine like normal people. I have a questioning machine. So when you call me it says, who are you and what do you want? So, my new friend, who are you and what do you want?
First, thank you so much, Dr. Marisa, for inviting me. My name is Andres Ruzo. I am Peruvian by birth, but Texan by choice. I'm a serial entrepreneur, an innovator, an agent of positive change in the world that is trying to drive a purpose-driven life and help other people influence other lives to to go in that direction and seek wholeness and joy and happiness like your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And you absolutely are. We shared a great dinner last night, and the things that he was saying, it was like, wow, we don't have the same teachers, but there's a lot of the same truths that we're going to talk about today. And he does have a #1 best-selling book that he's going to describe as we talk about why this book was so important to be written, and what the interesting, it's called The Human iOS, and this is a #1 bestseller now. You're going to have to go out and get it, but you get a personal introduction. So I'm going to start with, did you think as a child you would be doing what you're doing now?
Really not.
Yeah.
I never thought I would be an author. This book, yes, was an inspiration that I basically downloaded from the universal Wi-Fi, and it came out really quickly. It was put together in 4 months. So it's a message that I feel that the world needs, because there's a lot of things that are happening now that compromise our happiness, but it invites you to live inside out instead of outside in. And most of our younger generations, especially Generation Z, are looking at the phone all the time and to the inside. And it should be switched. It should be from the inside to the outside. That's one concept that I worked through the book. The second concept that is really important is that once you develop your iOS, which is your internal operating spirit, right, is that divine imprint that we all have. 8 billion people have the same divine imprint. We can call it the soul, but I'm utilizing allegories because I'm a technologist with technology, so I can connect with this Generation Z that understands TikTok and Wi-Fi and cloud and malware and all that stuff. So this is an effort to really connect, because the world is disconnected now. The world is polarized now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a humongous wave of people that are enlightened, that are looking at really improving the human condition, like you. Happiness, right?
Yes.
So this is what united. And when we talk about simple truth, this is a book of simple truth. It's not a religious book. I try to stay away from that. I'm Catholic myself, and I love my faith. But the reality is there's truths that are universal, and we have to stick to them so that we have a common language that our ancient people really understood. And this book brings all of those things alive and connected.
Interesting. Could you turn that air conditioner on?
Sure.
Thank you. I think it's a little on the background, but so gosh, there's like 88,000 places I could go right now. And I'm just let's go to connectivity. So I like to, in the first half of the show, talk about reality and put the moose on the table, or talk about the elephant in the room, that I hear many people, parents, teachers, supervisors, leaders in organizations, disparagingly talk about this new generation and the demise of the young people, and how they don't go out and play, and they don't go out into nature, and they stay in front of the computer and they play useless games, and they waste their time, or they're smoking pot all the time, or all of those things that are described, as you said, with your inside, preoccupation with the inside, not outside. So you're not connecting except with the people you're playing games with. You're not connecting with nature. You're not connecting with who, self-reflection is really not something that is highlighted. So all of those ways in which you saw disconnection is really the foundation of what you saw as where we're hurting, right, on the planet individually. The polarization, we talked about that at dinner. You said, which I agree with, America has never been so polarized. And we used to be able to say, let's agree to disagree. And now we can't even say that, because if you don't think like I do, I'm going to unfriend you. I'm going to call you stupid. I'm going to call you. I'm going to cancel you. I'm going to ghost you. All of those like polar, like there's no middle ground. There's no gray area. There's no balance.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's beautiful what you're saying, because in reality, there should be no separation, right? Separation occurred as a cause of sin. And if you go back to the original sin, when Adam and Eve picked up the apple, 4 things happened. 4 ruptures: rupture with God, rupture with yourself, rupture with a neighbor, and rupture with nature. So that's the initial disconnection. That's what I'm saying. The human iOS, the internal operating spirit, has to be reset, has to be rebooted, and has to be restored to the original function, because we are all good by nature. We're all good, but we have to reclaim that goodness. So that's the initial step. Once you connect inside out and you start working your life towards not only unveiling, but resetting, restoring your iOS, then the universe conspires to help you. Because the universe, and I'm saying universe, could say God, right? The universe is constantly looking for people that are enlightened, because that's the purpose of this life. These 80, 100 years that we have here is just a night candle, right? So the consciousness, the collective consciousness that we talked about last night, that we're seeing it with your words, my words, we're saying the same thing,
right,
because we're speaking the same truth.
Yes.
And here at Secret Nook, I'm finding so many people so connected to that truth that is just amazingly powerful. So even though we see that we live in a VUCA world, and VUCA is a term that they use at the world at Davos, right? I was in Davos a month ago, invited as a member of the delegation of the Hispanic Latinos in the U.S. At the World Economic Forum. The VUCA world means volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So that's a term that I heard it 5 years ago at the WEF, and it's real, because the world is volatile, the world is complex, the world is uncertain, and the world is ambiguous. So this book brings hope. You talk about hope. I love hope, because faith in the future gives you power in the present. Right?
Hold on. Let's digest that one. Say that again.
Faith in the future.
Faith in the future.
Which is hope.
Which is hope. I was just going to say that.
Gives you power in the present.
Gives you power in the presence. So
present.
In the present moment.
In the moment. Now I'm
right.
powerful because I have hope. Because if you lose hope, you lose everything.
So that's profound. Because we are in a state of hopelessness in a way that we've never been before.
And COVID is a great example of that, because COVID brought a lot of anxiety into the equation, because in 12 weeks, it disrupted a little bug that we don't see. In 12 weeks, disrupted the way we work, the way we travel, the way we cook, the way we meet your family, the way we move, everything, right? So I touched on that on my book too. So I touched on, this is a post-COVID thing. And it's an allegoric book that takes you through a narrow path to the heart of humanity, but it gives you solutions, which is connect to the universal Wi-Fi. Some people could call it the Holy Spirit, right? But it's the universal Wi-Fi. Why? Because our kids, our Generation C, the first thing they do when you travel with them is go to a restaurant.
Wi-Fi?
What is the Wi-Fi and what is the password?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. So they need to understand that in order for them to get that joyous and hopeful and beautiful life that we are all created and deserve to be giants, children of light, warriors of light, they have to be connected inside.
Wow.
That's the message.
Yeah. So okay, let's go to the put moose on the table about religion, and when you say Holy Spirit, when you say God, and I've talked about this on the show before, I'm actually allergic to religion, and it came about by being raised extremely rigidly and dogmatically. This is the only way. This is, if you're going to hell unless you do these things or think these things or believe these things, all in the name of Jesus, all in the name. And so I know that I'm not alone. There's a whole generation of us who went, I don't want to have a God that needs anger management classes, that is always smiting people, to be my, hope or connection to that. And then through many different avenues and journeys, I've come to a place where I still am allergic to religion, but I absolutely am so hooked in. And when I meditate, I like take my tail, which is a plug, and I plug it into my UPS man, my universal power source,
exactly,
who delivers, every morning when I pray and meditate. And I do call that power God, without the God. It's a God of my understanding that is very different than the God that I grew up with. But I realized that by throwing God away when I didn't want the religious side of it, I was throwing away a connection with that power that you talk about, that is the one that created the incredible world, and the fact that no drop of water in the ocean and the blade of grass on a blade of grass or a leaf on the tree is the same, or a grain of sand is so unique, just like the 4 point, how many billion of us are now?
8 billion.
8 billion.
8
well,
billion.
We're at 8 billion. Where did I go? 8 billion. That's a good number. 8's a lucky number in Chinese, by the way.
I know.
So each individual one of us are a full expression of that power that I absolutely know, like
because we're connected. And this is the beauty of it, right? Because it's a frequency.
Yeah.
Love is that higher frequency, that how this was created. But the reality is that there's universal truths that have been discovered for ancient civilization, the Incas, the Mayas, the Aztecs.
Toltec.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about them. They had so much connection and respect for nature. I talk about Pachamama, Mother Earth, right?
Yeah.
I talk about females like you.
Yeah.
You're a warrior. You're an enlightened person, right? And I've met so many women so powerful in this century that I really hope that we have more women running for presidents, because we have less wars in this world, right? Number one. But the other thing is this no separation. So this message is, since truth is universal. It doesn't matter if you're a Jew or a Muslim or a Catholic or a Protestant or whatever. We don't touch that. We touch the truthness of the message. Also, I include the metaverse. One of my characters, called Llama, because he carries a bunch of stuff since he was a kid, and that was his nickname. But Llama lives in the metaverse. And that's what we see on our kids, right? They live in the metaverse. So if you look at the way we are, we're really avatars, because your iOS is your internal operating spirit or system, your soul.
Yeah.
But this is your avatar that lasts for 80 years. And now we're trying to get into another virtual reality to create another avatar and live in that world, when we're not living in full consciousness in this world. So when you talk about hope and when you talk about happiness comes as a result of the gratitude and the connectedness that you have with no separation. With everything and everyone. And that's what we need to seek. But to unleash that, you need to start with yourself. We cannot heal the world if we don't heal ourselves.
Amen. to that.
It's
Amen.
true.
Yeah,
It's true.
it is absolutely true. And wow, it's funny because we have very different teachers, but you can tell as he's talking, it's the same message. It's that same oneness. It's the same, the universal love, the teachings of Christ. I was throwing Jesus out, the baby with the bathwater,
Yes.
too, because of my aversion to how I grew up in religion, where there's many ways to God, and there's many rooms in God's mansion, but I'm in the penthouse and you're in the basement, right? So I love, all universal truth is telling me is that love, the highest vibration, that the truth is not because I'm right and you're wrong.
Exactly.
The truth is that highest level of love and harmony and creativity and synchronicity.
And when you move that to the universe level, because God is way up there, and we don't see him, okay? But let's talk about the universe that we do see. That's what when my book has a balancing guy standing up on a Wi-Fi sign, right? That guy works is me working within the two worlds, because I'm a serial entrepreneur and I work with the material and the spiritual, and I'm a connector like you. So we need people like us. I talk in the book also, at the World Economic Forum, we talked about the new world order, and I think they're smoking weed. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about.
Legal now.
It's okay, but the reality is, we come from certain, after World War II, we came from certain order for 75 years. And then we went into disorder with the COVID very quickly in 2020. In 2020, in March, boom, everything changed in 8 weeks. And now we're in the disorder. I think disorder is going to continue for decades. And it's not going to be just a COVID. It's going to be another COVID. It's going to be a war. It's going to be volcanoes. It's going to be earthquakes in Turkey. It's going to be the things that are happening here with the rain. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I saw a rainbow this morning on the way in.
It's amazing what there is torrential waters in the desert of Peru today.
Wow.
Torrential waters. It's never been like that.
Wow.
So what is COVID for me? A wake-up call. Mother Nature is telling us, hey, wake up, human. Get it. Wake up, alert, turn the way, connect with me. And this, again, we need to reconnect. That's why the allegories of technology are so fitting. And I was really received this, that I could find the people where they are. Find this youth. 55% of the youth are agnostic. 55%.
55%.
They don't believe in nothing. Wow. The Generation Z, they don't believe. But they say that they're authentic. And I believe they're authentic. I've talked to a lot of them. They say that they look for the truth. I believe in that too. They say that they're not religious, that they don't go to mass, they don't do a bunch of things. They also have more conscience than you and me in choosing companies that are, that are green, that are friendly to the environment, to protect nature, and they speak out about it. But they don't know the how. See, what I have realized is that Generation Z doesn't really know how. They want the truth, but how to get to the truth. It's complicated because there's so many narratives in today's world, and more polarization, and everybody has an opinion. And we're becoming gods ourselves, right? So the challenge is here. So what I'm telling you how. Go inside. Unveil your connect to your real essence, your divine essence, your fruit, which is beautiful. And then from there, connect to the universal Wi-Fi. I don't call it God. So it's simple. It's simple truth. And by the way, I love simple Jesus. I think his message is on point.
His message is incredible.
On point.
Yeah.
And I'm staying away from religion. But I love it.
For sure. And the teachings of Christ, are really, unfortunately, lost in the translation by many religions, right? That, how many wars have been started in the name of, whatever.
In the name of God, they have done tremendous damage.
Yeah, and let me do a station ID before we keep going. If you've just tuned in and are wondering who is in my studio today, it is the #1 best-selling author of The Human iOS. Andres Ruzo. I can't say it like he does, but I'm just delighted to have him and talking. And you know, you're going to wonder, well, he sounds a lot like you, but we have different teachers and we've had different paths. But the universal truth is that we are connected, and you are listening to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere on the station that leaves no listener behind. So let's go back to and this is so powerful, that what in the effort to live the American dream, I will say, has led a lot of people to be so outwardly focused on how do I look, how much do I have, a fixed mentality around you know, if you have, then you've taken from me, or if I have, there's nothing for you. That fixed pie, very non universal truth of there's more than enough, right? There's more than enough resources for us. There's more than enough food to feed every single child, that no one should be starving. So what the fork is happening that we can't get that fixed?
We are disconnected. That's the main.
That's the original sin.
That's the root of the problem.
That we're separated from.
But nature is abundant. Everything that nature gives you is abundant. We have to just claim that to our beings, that we're part of that abundancy, so that we can start working on that and bring that secret into our lives to make it a manifestation in what you're doing, because nature is abundant. You see how we pollute, we make calls, we throw rockets, and nature keeps on coming, keeps on coming, keeps on giving.
Yeah,
you know. So we live. I was saying, and my book talks about the VUCA world, to just set up the thing. Again, I have total hope that we're going to get out of this, but the reality is we're going to get out of it by getting into it.
Yes.
Now, the solutions don't come from the outside in. The solutions come from the inside out, and you know that, Doctor.
I do know that, but it's such a shift from hundreds of years of believing in dog eat dog, rat race. I look better than you. I have more than you. That the secret to happiness is the acquisition of things, material things. That what's most important is that I protect my, all of
That's
this.
a scarcity.
Yes.
And our minds process at 10 kbps, kilobytes per second. There's 10,000 bytes. Why? Because we have 5 senses, and the 5 senses have to slow down the speed of your processing to understand what is happening. I'm smelling some food, I'm listening to a car, I'm watching you taping me. So, but that's a survival. Everybody's on survival. Okay, the speed. But there's a higher speed, and there's time and space when there is in survival. Always time. You're locked into time and space, and it's the more you have, the less I have. So screw you, right? Where I come from, where I want to take the people, is to see, hey, there's a win-win. There's a 1,000 times the 10 kbps is 10 megas. We can process the 10 megas in our head, but we do it unconsciously. And when do we do it? When we dream. Why? Because you could see your grandfather is there, and you can be working in China, and then China and flying to Peru and doing amazing things. There's no time and space. But imagine using that power consciously, which is what some of the enlightened people do. Living that. So 2 + 2 is not 4, it's 20 or 50, right? So I discover that there's even a higher speed, which is 1,000 times that, which is gigabytes, right? 10 gigabytes. So what I'm proposing is to connect like a fiber connection to the universal Wi-Fi, to download new upgrades to your iOS. So and firewalls, because as you walk the narrow path, you need to protect yourself from going into the dark side, because the dark side is also opportunities to grow, right? When you don't fall into the temptation, you take a step higher. You get more connectivity. So in this, I call this 10 gigabyte speed a greater good speed. where you and me, I can introduce you to someone, you can do business with them. I don't do nothing. But just for introducing that connection and creating a higher good and improving your human condition, I get it on the other side 100-fold. And it has happened to me many times where I'm not seeking for material remuneration, but it comes to me somewhere else. So I have an abundant life.
Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm in synchronicity with everybody that I touch. I flow, and I talk about the book. In the book about the flow. The flow is the result of that synchronicity that enables you to if you have your antennas on, right?
Yeah.
That enables you to really connect to the signs and the texts and the TikToks and the WhatsApps that the universe is sending you every day. But we don't see it because we're filtering them.
Yeah. I'm laughing because almost every day I talk about, walking around with your antenna up, and you just did it. And it's just like the synchronicity in his language and what he's talking about. Those of you who have been longtime supporters are probably laughing too. It's like, I swear to God, like I did not. Yeah, it's so funny. Oh gosh, it's great. I mean, it's so, it feels good to know that that the universe. Okay, how am I going to say this? I mean, every time you talk, like there's things I want to say, and then you don't let me speak. So
sorry.
Just kidding. I'm so just kidding. But you all know, right? First of all, peace in, peace out to Nathan, who introduced me as Econoc. And it's interesting because I now have a lineup of a lot of people that want to be on the show. And so in past years, I have looked for guests at Secret Knock. And this year, I just sat back and wasn't looking. And then Nathan and I were chatting, and he said, I have someone. And I, I meet a lot of people who want to be on the show, which is wonderful. But the fact that this was a synchronous connection, because I wasn't looking for it, you weren't looking for it. And then we end up realizing that, and I don't even want to call them light workers, because it makes it sound like, oh, you're better than everybody. As I was telling you yesterday, this is about everyone feeling that they matter on the planet. And I want to just address those of you who are poo-poo on spirituality, who say, oh, you're just telling me to get a vision board and go sit under a Bodhi tree and, and everything will materialize. That is not what we're talking about at all, if I can be so bold, is what the 90% of the gray matter that is not accessed, that we knew about, we're taught that, and you're talking about, is when you're sitting and going within, you are connected to the inspiration, limitless inspiration of a creative force that wants to express through each and every one of us in a unique way. And so when you're in meditation and when you are in the flow, as you told me, you get ideas to create electric cars. Or you get the inspiration to write the human iOS and have these brilliant, how I love wordplay. So when he's talking about, new operating systems and firewalls, and I used to say, if your BS, your belief systems aren't working for you, it's time for a soft reboot or a hard reboot, right?
Right. 4 years ago, I had a heart operation, open heart.
Oh.
I was born with a bicuspid valve, and they changed my valve. They put me a bull valve, but they opened my heart. So what happens when you do a hardware change? You need to do a software download. So this software download that I have that pushed me to the book, it's been 4 years. I did 3 pilgrimages. I went to Camino, to Spain, to Camino de Santiago. I went to Israel, to Jerusalem for 2 weeks on a retreat, and I went to visit La Señora Guardiana de la Fe in Ecuador. And I started downloading. I mean, my heart was pumping, but I was downloading all this new software, trying to, holy Christ, what's happening? And this, this is not only me. everybody has this magnificence inside.
Yeah.
It's just the matter of reconnecting to it.
Yes.
And it's and when you start living inside out, it's a narrow path. It's narrow.
Mhm.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Because it's not in
It's
the past.
simple, but it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
Now in the past it was the evil against the good. Now is the good against the easy.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? The easy
Uh-huh.
path takes you to the bad road.
Uh-huh.
What we need to do is get that greatness that we have
Mhm.
out,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm challenging our youth. You know, you are seekers of the truth.
Mhm.
Look for the plain truth, but find yourself inside first,
Mhm.
so that you have a platform to stand
Mhm.
from.
Mhm. It's such a different message than what many in our generation, or I'm ageless, but that we're told you have to spend 10,000 hours in order to be an expert in
Exactly.
anything, that your job is to get good at one thing, and that's the only thing that you do for the rest of your life, even though you hate it and don't like doing it. Too bad, because that's what makes you money. You don't blow your own horn. Don't think too much of yourself. You're not all that. You should. You're shoulded on all the time. And that is when you close your eyes and you think about who am I, it's not a pretty thing. And what you're saying is that's all conditioned falsehoods, right? It's not the truth. The truth is you are magnificent.
You are.
Uniquely loving, lovable, loved, wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. You have a unique talent, gift, and ability to share in the life that you have in that dash from birth to death. And that is the purpose of life.
And that's so beautiful, because you're talking a total reset. And I know some of your audience, like me, we have a difficult childhood. My parents were divorced, and we all have our own history, right?
7 out of 10 of us childhood trauma.
I know we have a childhood
Yeah.
trauma,
Mhm.
but the reality is we can restore that.
Mhm.
But you have to do it consciously. It is not an unconscious job. It has
Yeah.
to be purposeful driven,
Yeah.
and it has to be continuous connection to the iOS,
Mhm.
to your internal operating spirit, so
Yeah.
that you can reset it. So I challenge our listeners to
Mhm.
really explore that as a suggestion,
Mhm.
because you will have a fuller life, you will have a more happiness,
Yeah.
and your family will get the benefits, your kids will get the benefits, and you will start organizing your internal being,
Mhm.
and then allow the connections to happen and the universe to manifest.
Yes. Yes.
And with
absolutely.
gratitude is key to all this. What are you laughing about now?
Because I start every show with taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich,
Okay.
but we didn't do it today because
Okay,
we
well,
had
now
other stuff going, so we can do it now.
We'll be eating the gratitude sandwich with you already.
That's right. Let's do it. So what my suggestion is all the time, and I started doing this on the show about 8 months ago. Every time we start a show, we have breakfast. So we're going to have breakfast right now, a little late. And the top of the bun is 8 specific things you're grateful for. And the bottom of the bun is 8 things that you like about yourself. So it's right aligned with everything we're talking about. So let's go. I'm grateful that I synchronistically met this #1 bestselling author who was originally from Peru.
Yes.
And an innovator and a creative thinker and a downloader of the truth. And that we got to accidentally, not accidentally, meet at Secret Knock yesterday. That's my first gratitude. Go.
Okay, well, total gratitude to meet you, Dr. Marisa. I mean, it was unexpected, and I'm grateful that you are here. And I know we had to get to here. It was, you fly you fly very softly. I'm amazed how you move and do things. You flow really well.
Thank you.
I'm gratitude for your flow.
Great. I'm grateful that I saw a rainbow this morning on the drive to the hotel.
I'm grateful for my wife and my family, because I spent a week with them in Los Angeles and San Diego. last week.
Beautiful. I'm grateful that there are two books. I think I have. Hold on. There's two books now that you can use to find yourself within beyond. You hold yours.
Yeah.
Actually, you hold mine, and I'll hold yours. These two books are going to help you if you're sold now to say, okay, I'm going to stop looking outside. I want to go inside. You all know my book, 8 Ways to Happiness. I'm going to give an Asian Oprah giveaway today of the audiobook version of this book to the first person that goes to drmarissa.life and says, let's see, download. Put download on the subject line, and I'll get that to you. And then this book, which is the highlighted book today, is must have, because if you're resonating at all, if you're like, is this all there is? Recovering from COVID, is that all there is now to focus on? No, you now have the opportunity to find that beautiful part of you that has always been there that you've not been connected with. And here's the handbook for it, The Human iOS by
Andres Ruzo.
See, I can't say it like
it's
that.
in Audible, and it's also an ebook. And I'm getting the Spanish version in a month.
Yay!
So I feel that this is a purpose-driven initiative that was downloaded from the universe, and
yes,
I'm just doing my part.
Yes, fantastic. And I think we're being told by my beautiful sound engineer that we're almost out of time. So let's go right to appreciation. And one appreciation that you have of yourself. What do you like about yourself that you're not walking around with antenna looking for likes? Looking for approval? What do you know?
I love that I am a truth seeker. It gives me, truth gives you freedom. And I am very content with myself because I'm looking for the truth constantly.
Yeah. My friend Jeff Hoffman, who's the co-founder of Priceline, yesterday did a presentation. I'll be putting that on social today, a little clip of it. And he talked about the gear, what's on your dashboard of your car, and are you good with yourself? And I wanted to, yell from where I was. I've never been more happy in this moment right now with my life. Like I
Same
can
here.
say that. And the fact that I can actually say that and not say, I'll be happy when, is one of the things that I treasure the most about myself in my life.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so important to be in the present.
It is.
Because
It's a gift. It's a gift.
It's the
Right,
present.
present. It's
Exactly,
a gift. It's a gift. All right. And we're going to be out of time in a minute. Final word. Very short.
Final word. So thank you so much. Explore these suggestions that I'm providing in the book. The book in the audible version is like a story. It goes all the way to Latin America. It ends up in Marcahuasi, which is a mesa in Peru. Goes through Nazca, Cusco, the Andes. There's some shaman experiences. It's the world of today, but it's a narrow path that is beautiful. So I ask you to look into it.
Beautiful. And you don't have to take any ayahuasca to do it.
No.
You can just read. Naturally high, folks. Naturally high.
Exactly.
This is Dr. Marissa reporting live in San Diego with a wonderful new friend who has a book that you need to get, The Human iOS. Remember now that it's all about balance. Tune in tomorrow. It's Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works. We're going to talk about romance and partners who don't work out like you do with my fitness expert, Beth Linder Moss. Friday, Alon Carter, daughter of the founder of The Temptations, Alon Carter. And we're going to have Sam Works on. So we're doing a cross co-host pollination. But in the meantime, it's all about balance. Can you do this with me? Peace in.
Peace in.
Peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever.
A great day and a great week.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We love you guys. Bye.
Polly. I don't know if you can hear me.